This week, Congress is back in D.C. as they try to avoid a potential government shutdown, while state lawmakers in Indiana debate the possibility of changing the boundary lines for congressional districts ahead of the midterms. But we start with the issues in front of Congress this week. Trevor Shirley reports from our Washington bureau.
Now, lawmakers are back on Capitol Hill with lots on their plates. Government funding runs out at the end of September. Republicans will have to find a way to work with Democrats to get that funding passed or face a shutdown heading into the fall. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said in part, quote, "The only way to avoid a shutdown is to work in a bipartisan way with a bill that can get both Republican and Democratic votes in the Senate." However, as we near the funding deadline, Republicans are once again threatening to go at it alone. Democrats have vowed to block efforts they say hurt middle Americans.
We have to be all in, relentless, focused, driven, hardworking, so that we can make sure that we stop this evil in its tracks.
Vice President J.D. Vance says the administration will push for priorities intended to help all Americans.
We want to help people. We want to help our fellow citizens.
Other priorities include possibly more sanctions on Russia and continued efforts to release more of the Epstein files. The Republican-led House committee released thousands of pages of documents related to the case. However, much of that was information already publicly known, and some pages were almost entirely redacted. Democrats criticized Republicans for releasing information that was already released, some as far back as 2017. The Epstein saga remains a story the White House just can't put to bed. President Donald Trump had a long and documented history with Epstein, and conservative media leaned into conspiracy theories surrounding Epstein's crimes and death. Many Republicans voters expected President Trump to immediately release everything known about Epstein, which so far hasn't happened, and they're now angry at the president and his administration. There's also an ongoing bipartisan effort in the House to force the release of the files after House Speaker Mike Johnson tried to delay a vote on that earlier this summer.
So we gather here on the steps of the Capitol to confront these corrupt forces.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
All right, Trevor, thanks. Of course, Congress also waiting to see what happens with this nationwide discussion over redistricting, with that debate still playing out here in Indiana, among other states. This week, lawmakers discussing a number of specific maps that they say have been circulating, including this one that we saw with all 9 districts favoring Republicans. This week, State House reporter Hannah Adamson spoke with state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle.
You may have seen several maps posted online hypothesizing what redistricting early could look like in Indiana. One Indiana Republican I spoke to says lawmakers now have several different options to consider, but have no clue what leadership thinks of any of them.
Because none of us really know what's going on.
State Representative Craig Haggard says he and his colleagues are waiting to hear from leadership as to whether or not they'll enter a special session to redraw congressional lines early.
I think all of us have a little bit of frustration with the fact that we really don't know what we're going to do.
This comes as several maps continue to circulate among Republican circles. One map Haggard says he received over the weekend splits Marion County 3 ways.
I know that I received it. Some people received it via text.
He says it's one of roughly 8 to 10 potential maps he's seen so far, none of which have come from Republican leadership.
But there's been no official map drawn up by the legislature and distributed to us to say, hey, what do you think about this?
Regarding the map Haggard received, the Indiana Democratic Party says in part, quote, "This map was drawn by a GOP political consultant and posted on X weeks ago. This map wasn't drawn by Hoosiers, lacks input from voters, and splits communities of interest."
When we did this discussion, again, back in 2021, we talked about all these things, including keeping communities of interest together and so on. So we should not be doing redistricting in the middle of a decade.
This is a much bolder plan.
Political science professor Martin Sweet says any attempts by Republicans to split Marion County multiple ways could most likely result in the courts getting involved.
So if the intent is to say, hey, we want to diminish the African-American vote, right? Well, that's a constitutional problem. If the intent instead is to say we want every district to look like the rest of the state, that may pass constitutional muster.
Again, we need to emphasize none of these maps circulating online have come from Indiana's Republican legislative leaders, and that a special session has not been called at this time. We're still waiting to hear responses from leadership about the possibility of that happening. Reporting from Indianapolis, I'm Hannah Adamson.
All right, thanks. This week, Hannah also spoke with State Senate Minority Leader Shelley Yoder, who shared her thoughts on some of the new maps we're seeing now and what, if anything, Democrats here in Indiana can do to fight back.
We don't know who's authoring these maps, and we certainly don't know when and if this is going to take place, but we do know that it is an attempt to cheat out Hoosiers. And we are definitely doing all that we can, and we appreciate you doing what you can to educate voters.
Do you see litigation should Republican leadership go that route?
Well, what we're seeing is definitely splitting our communities of color and having to do so where they look like, whole pies that are cut up, where in the end, nobody is going to have fair representation. What we are seeing in these maps is an attempt to make Indiana pay the price for doing nothing other than Hoosiers working hard to support themselves and their families and expecting their elected leaders to show up for them. But these maps are pulling the rug out from underneath Hoosiers who are working every day to just pay the bills at these rising costs, whether it's to get groceries or pay their utility bills. And now they're being threatened that their very democratic process and their vote is at risk. This is cheating. And we only can see from this map that, yes, there is going to be a fight to the very end, and it probably will end up in court.
Part of our interview there with State Senator Shelley Yoder. Meantime, another change could be coming to Indiana elections soon. This week, the Secretary of State held public meetings on the idea of possibly moving municipal elections to even-numbered years, something the legislature is having his office study. Meantime, the Secretary of State and Attorney General also facing a lawsuit this week, with the Indiana Citizen filing suit to get info on the list of voters the AG and SOS sent to the federal government to try and verify their citizenship.
I think this concern is way overblown. I think it's part of a national effort to undermine the integrity of the election system. I mean, the very idea that the Secretary of State of Indiana, the state's chief election officer, would call into question the accuracy of our voter registration rolls is just outrageous.
We'll have more of that conversation on our website. Well, this week we're also looking at another issue impacting communities across Indiana, and that's the local impact of property tax reform, with several mayors on both sides of the aisle saying it's already having an adverse impact on their municipalities. Claire Curry looked at the impact in Beech Grove.
Like several small communities here across central Indiana, Beech Grove is working to crunch the numbers for next year's budget.
With the passage of SB 1, we're a little concerned about our future.
The bill gives homeowners some tax relief, but also reduces property tax revenue cities have relied on. Mayor James Kaufman says he's worried, not so much on the short term, but for the long term.
I think the city of Beech Grove might bring in roughly $250,000 to $600,000 less in 2026, but once we get to 2028, it's going to be maybe $1 million or $2 million less in revenue.
The mayor says keeping salaries for those who work for the city, like police and fire, will be a priority when looking ahead to next year's budget.
We're going to focus on our employees and then not have any increases proposed for the other categories.
Beech Grove's mayor says they've already started increasing rates to be more fiscally responsible. Residents are paying on average about $11 more on their wastewater bills. And there are tax increases on the horizon.
So we can implement a wheel tax for the city of Beech Grove. Another one would be a local income tax.
The mayor agrees property tax relief is needed, but argues so is funding for local governments.
And I urge the state and the state legislature to listen.
Claire Curry reporting there. Meantime, this week we're also talking with the mayor of Carmel, Sue Finkam, who says property tax reform could have a huge impact in her city. You can see that here in the city's latest report, which shows it could be a $40 million impact over the next 5 years. What do you think this is going to mean for residents in Carmel? What are you hoping the state legislature might do to perhaps try and tweak this situation somewhat next year?
Well, what it's going to mean for the residents of Carmel is the same great services at a slightly lower rate, right? Because we were spending less inside the hall, inside City Hall. I have had numerous conversations with the state legislature. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think much will happen in 2026. Some tweaks, perhaps, but that remains to be seen.
So how do you keep services going? What kind of cuts do you have to make to keep all of your services in place?
Really, it's not about the cuts. It's about maximizing our priorities with what we can, so which is public safety, our infrastructure, our primary elements, keeping our city beautiful and vibrant, which our residents really love. And we know that because we surveyed them last year, and those are clear priorities for them. So better, faster, stronger, meaner, right? With fewer dollars.
But I imagine, not just in your city, but in many other cities around the state, mayors, people in your position are frustrated by the amount of money, the sheer difference that this is going to make in terms of money to municipalities across the state.
Look, the reality is we can be frustrated, but this is the world we're living in. And this is the world we're going to live in for several years. So we could waste our time whining about what happened, or we can get to work and make our city, or keep our city fantastic and find new ways of doing business, new ways of collaborating, and helping our legislators meet their goals while we also meet ours.
So you don't expect much to happen this year. What are you hoping over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years that could happen at the State House to maybe make this situation a little easier on our municipalities?
Well, we have some technical changes we're requesting that will affect TIF and some of our property tax, the way we calculate things, but that's getting into the weeds. It's too early to say what's going to change or what we could ask for, because there's just a lot of different things that legislators want to do, and they've got 2 legislative sessions here where they've identified potential fixes. So it's hard to say what's coming, but again, what I'm responsible for is delivering great services at the best possible cost to residents, and that's what we're working on.
Are you going to be able to do this without raising taxes significantly at the local level? What kind of changes, what might we see there?
Right now, we're just focused on doing everything we can within the tax revenue we get right now. Whether we have to raise taxes later or we have to tap into local income tax, that remains to be seen as well.
But is that a possibility at this point?
Sure, it's a possibility. It's a possibility for every city and town in the state of Indiana.
Yeah. What else do you want lawmakers to know at the state level as you all now contend with the reality of dealing with this bill here in your cities and towns?
I think what I've been trying to share with lawmakers is to make sure that they're aware that this is going to impact growth for Indiana. It may affect Indiana's competitiveness because it's put a real damper on our ability to invest in future development, invest in infrastructure. And these taxpayer dollars that we get, they don't just sit in a bank, right? We reinvest them in the community and around the state of Indiana. So that's my concern, is are we going to remain competitive?
All right, up next, we'll take a deeper dive on this issue of property taxes. We'll also talk about another big issue, the cost of utilities. We'll tell you what the governor did on that front this week. And we'll talk with our panel about the pressure to redistrict here in Indiana and whether these potential new maps we're seeing could lead to a lawsuit. That's next.